My sister borrowed my car for an hour and returned it 3 days later with a dented bumper, saying accidents happen. Last month, she asked to borrow my wedding dress for her engagement photos. I said yes, then watched her face when she realized I'd had it tailored to my exact measurements, 2 sizes smaller than hers. I'm Maya, 29, female, and I'm typing this with my hands still smelling like the lemon cleaner I used to scrub tire streaks off my driveway. It's stupid, I know. Like if I can erase the marks, I can erase the way my sister talks to me. Soft and airy when she wants something, sharp and heavy when she gets caught. Caroline, 32, female, is my older sister. She's the kind of person people describe as fun, until they're the ones standing in a parking lot with a dinged bumper and a pit in their stomach. If you asked our mom, Linda, 59, female, she'd call Caroline spirited, like she's a horse that broke the fence because the wind whispered. If you asked me last year, I would have said Caroline is exhausting in a way that crawls into your bones and sets up a campsite. Today, I'd say she's a wrecking ball wrapped in perfume and Instagram filters, and I'm the wall. We grew up in Columbus. Same house, same chipped ceramic sink, same blue magnolia wallpaper in the hallway that felt like it was always watching. Caroline was the golden one. Solo in 8th grade choir, homecoming court, a scream laugh that made strangers glance around for the nearest exit or the nearest party. I was the glue. Science fair, swim team, the person who remembered to pack extra sunscreen and Band-Aids. Caroline borrows. That's always the word she uses. She borrowed my prom shoes and returned them with glitter flaking off like a rash. She borrowed my favorite sweater and brought it back stretched at the neck and smelling like cigarettes. I'm sure she didn't smoke because I don't even do that, Maya. She borrows status too. If I have a thing, suddenly it's our thing. The car was supposed to be an hour. She had a nail appointment across town, just a quick in and out because her fiancé, Eric, 33, male, had their Jeep and she couldn't Uber in this economy. Her words. I said yes because I was tired, because Evan, 30, male, my husband of 6 months, was at a work retreat and I didn't want to be alone in that weird way where silence feels like a dare. She took my Civic with the reusable grocery bags in the trunk and the tiny blue crystal hanging from the mirror that my grandmother gave me. Protects you from idiots, Grandma said when she tied it on. God, I wish. An hour turned into a day, turned into 3. My texts went from, hey, everything okay? To, Caroline, I need my car back. To the kind of message you send with your teeth clenched where the words don't look angry, but every letter is a nail. When she finally pulled up, the bumper had a crease like a frown. The license plate was hanging off on one side, and there was a skid of black paint across the corner that wasn't mine. She parked half on the lawn. She clipped my terracotta pot, knocked it into the grass, and when I stepped outside, she was leaning against the hood, laughing into her phone like we were in on a joke together. Accidents happen, she said, before I could make words, flipping the keys so they clacked into my palm. The way she said it, like I'd scuffed her nail polish, made something inside me grind. Accidents happen, I repeated. I heard the sound a second before I felt it. My voice shaking, the ceramic pot cracking under my heel as I stepped back. Somewhere in there she said it wasn't her fault, that a psycho in a truck had swerved, that she'd handled it, which I learned meant she drove away and blocked the unknown number when it called. She rolled her eyes at me like I was being dramatic about, I don't know, basic property damage? I didn't cry. I wouldn't give her that. I picked up the broken pieces of terracotta and pressed them into the trash bag until the edges bit my fingertips. My heart felt like a bird that had been flying into a window so long it forgot the sky existed. Caroline talked. She moved past me into my kitchen, opened my fridge like it was hers, stretched on the balls of her feet to reach the top shelf where I keep Evan's good coffee beans and said, "We're sisters, Maya. I'll get it fixed." She didn't. I filed the claim. I dealt with the insurance agent who asked me to describe the damages and the driver, and I said, "My sister." And the silence on the other end felt like judgment and pity mixed into a paste and smeared across my face. You should know this isn't just about a car. A month before the bumper, Caroline asked to borrow my wedding dress for her engagement photos. Just for golden hour, you know, like a vibe. And I said yes. I took it to be cleaned. I also took it to my seamstress. I gave her my exact measurements. Caroline is 2 sizes bigger than me. I'm not proud of the petty thought that skittered through my brain as the pins went in, and the seamstress made that tiny ach noise. But I am tired, and sometimes tired people get resourceful. Caroline's face when she realized the dress didn't fit was one of those moments that branded itself into my brain. Her hands had stilled on the zipper, her eyes narrowing as the fabric refused to budge past her ribs. I stood there in the doorway pretending to fuss with a coffee mug, heart thumping so loud it felt like she could hear it. You, you got this taken in, she said finally, voice tight. It's my wedding dress, I said, keeping my tone light. Of course it's tailored to me. That should have been the end of it. A normal person would have laughed it off, said, fair enough, maybe been embarrassed and moved on. But Caroline? She just stared at me, jaw working like she was chewing on glass. Then she smirked. And that's when I knew I hadn't dodged anything. I'd lit a fuse. She left in a huff, saying she'd figure something out. And I should have locked the door, should have told Evan what was going on, should have done anything except go on with my day like I wasn't related to a human hurricane. 3 nights later, it happened. Evan was working late, so it was just me, folding laundry in the living room, when I heard the back door slam. Not knock. Slam. Caroline's voice followed, high and nasal, like a mosquito trapped in a jar. You think you're funny? She shouted before I even saw her. She came into the hallway carrying a garment bag. My garment bag. My stomach dropped. I lunged, but she'd already unzipped it, pulling out the dress with both hands like she was about to present it on some twisted runway. You think you can embarrass me like that? She spat. Her face was blotchy, mascara smudged like she'd been crying or drinking, probably both. Caroline, put it back, I said, trying to keep my voice steady. But she was already cramming herself into it again, yanking at the seams, jerking the zipper so hard I could hear the stitches straining. Caroline, stop! And then, reap! The sound was surgical, straight down the side seam. My chest went hollow. She froze, eyes wide, then started laughing. Actually laughing. Oops, she said. Guess accidents happen, right? That phrase. The same one she'd tossed at me when she'd dented my car. It felt like she'd shoved a knife between my ribs and twisted. I snapped then. I grabbed the dress back, shoved her away harder than I meant to, and she stumbled against the hall table, knocking over the ceramic lamp Evan's aunt had given us as a wedding gift. It shattered on the hardwood in a spray of blue and white. Caroline gasped, then switched gears so fast it made me dizzy. Eyes brimming with tears, voice breaking. You shoved me. She sank to the floor like she was in a bad high school play. The banging on the front door came less than a minute later. Our mother. Of course, Caroline had texted her on the way over, probably some half-truth about me hoarding the dress. I opened the door and Mom barreled in, arms crossed, eyes scanning the mess. Caroline was on the floor in fake tears, the dress crumpled next to her like a corpse. Maya, Mom said, her voice all righteous fury. She's your sister. You can't just refuse her like this. What's yours is hers. That line. That goddamn family mantra. I felt my throat close up. Caroline peeked up at me from the floor, tears mixing with that smug little smile, because she knew she had backup now. And in that moment, with the ruined dress in one hand and my mother's accusations in the other, I realized Caroline wasn't going to stop until I made her, and I was done being her wall. Don't forget to subscribe. The morning after the dress fiasco, I woke up to 10 missed calls from my mom and 3 voicemails that all started the same. Maya, she's your sister. I didn't even bother listening past that. Evan came into the kitchen holding his phone, jaw tight. Your mom called me, he said. She said you shoved Caroline into a table and ripped your own dress out of spite. I felt my stomach drop. Caroline had twisted it already. That's not what happened, I snapped. Evan believed me. I could see it in his face. But the fact that Caroline dragged him into it? That was new. And dangerous. By noon, I found out it wasn't just family. Caroline had posted on Facebook. A blurry photo of the dress crumpled on the floor, captioned, "Some sisters don't know how to share happiness. Sad when jealousy turns violent." Dozens of likes, pitying comments. Old family friends chimed in with, "Stay strong, hun," and Sisters fight, but blood is blood. I wanted to scream. Instead, I scrolled, each comment carving deeper until my chest hurt. Then, Caroline upped it again. She showed up at Evan's office. I only knew because he called me in a panic. She's here. She's telling my boss you're unstable, Maya. That you shoved her, that you're jealous of her engagement and trying to ruin it. She's crying in the lobby. I swear I went cold all over. She hadn't just invaded my house. Now she was trying to poison Evan's workplace. By the time he got her out, the damage was done. His co-workers had seen her meltdown, whispering behind their hands. Evan was humiliated, forced to explain family drama at work. That night, my mom called again. "You need to apologize," she said. "Caroline's wedding is coming up and you don't want to ruin the family name. Just give her the dress, Maya. Buy another one. You can afford it." I laughed, sharp and ugly. "The dress is destroyed, Mom." She tore it. Mom didn't even flinch. "Then take her shopping. Make it right." That was the moment I realized this wasn't just Caroline being Caroline. It was my whole family circling the wagons around her, like always. Caroline wasn't stopping. She'd ruined my car, shredded my dress, humiliated me online, stormed Evan's office. She wanted me cornered. But I wasn't cornered. I was sharpening. And for the first time in years, I felt something dangerous. I wanted to make her pay. The week after Caroline crashed Evan's office, I tried to pretend things were settling, but I should have known better. I came home Wednesday evening to find my mailbox dented in, post leaning at an angle. Black tire streaks arced across the edge of our lawn, fresh. My stomach twisted. I already knew. Caroline's Jeep was parked half a block away, crooked, hazard lights blinking like a taunt. She was leaning against the hood when I walked up, arms crossed, phone in hand. "Cute house," she sneered. "Shame about the yard." "You need to leave," I said flatly. She rolled her eyes. "Relax, Maya. I just came to talk. You owe me. You ruined my photo shoot, my engagement announcement, You ripped the dress yourself," I cut in. Her face snapped tight, and before I could react, she hurled her iced coffee across the driveway. The cup burst, splattering my white garage door with sticky brown. "Accidents happen," she said again, grinning with her teeth. That was when Evan pulled in. He got out of his car fast, his voice sharp. "Caroline, enough. Go home." She started crying immediately, voice wobbling like she'd flipped a switch. "He's threatening me. Evan, she's gone crazy. You don't see it?" Our neighbor across the street had stopped watering his plants, just watching. Caroline clocked it too, and the way she smoothed her hair, turned her body toward him, made me realize this was performance now. She wanted witnesses. She wanted to ruin me publicly. Evan grabbed my hand, pulled me inside before I exploded. The second the door shut, I saw his face. Tired, drawn, a muscle ticking in his jaw. "This isn't sustainable," he said. "She's trying to burn down our lives because she can't stand not being the center of everything. You need to block her. Cut her off. Change locks if we have to." I nodded, but my mind was already racing in a different direction. Blocking her wouldn't stop Caroline. She'd just crash through a different door. My family would keep enabling, keep defending her. And every time she broke something, cried in front of someone, spun a new lie, I was the one left with the mess. I was done cleaning. Caroline wanted a stage. She wanted eyes on her, applause, pity, attention. Fine. I'd give her all of it. But not in the way she expected. Because if Caroline's identity was built on looking perfect, on being adored, then my revenge had to be just as public as her destruction. And it had to cut deeper than a ripped dress or dented bumper. For the first time in months, I smiled. Don't forget to subscribe. Update 1. Wow. I did not expect this to blow up the way it did. I thought maybe a handful of people would tell me to go low contact and that would be that. But y'all came in with everything from burn the dress and salt the earth to get a lawyer yesterday. I've been laughing, crying, and screenshotting some of your comments to reread when Caroline's voice gets too loud in my head. Couple things I need to clear up since people keep asking. 1. Yes, the car damage was real. Insurance covered some of it, but my premium is now sky high thanks to her. 2. The dress is officially ruined. The seamstress told me it would cost more to repair than it did to buy it in the first place. 3. Caroline's meltdown at Evan's office wasn't exaggerated. His boss pulled him aside the next day to ask if everything at home was all right. Humiliating. Now for the fun part, Caroline hasn't slowed down. Last week, she pulled into my driveway, revved her Jeep loud enough to set off our motion lights, and when I came out, she tossed a full iced coffee across my garage door. Then did her crocodile tears act when Evan told her to leave, pretending she was scared of me while our neighbor literally stood there with his hose turned off, just watching like it was the evening news. Some of y'all said I need to cut her off completely. I get it. I really do. But here's the thing. Caroline wants me to hide. She wants me to go quiet so she can spin her version of the story uncontested. That's always been the play in my family. She makes the mess, I clean it, and everyone pretends it's balance. Not this time. I'm not saying too much yet because, well, she reads everything. But let's just say I know what Caroline cares about more than anything else. It's not my car, it's not the dress, it's not even me. It's her image. And if she thinks she can weaponize that against me, she has no idea what's coming. To the commenter who wrote, "Sometimes revenge isn't fire, it's a mirror?" Yeah, that one stuck with me. Stay tuned. Caroline's engagement photo shoot was all she'd talked about for weeks. A rented meadow outside the city, a professional photographer she could barely afford, the whole golden hour boho dream nonsense. I knew because she bragged about it on Facebook, tagging the photographer and posting Pinterest boards like she was starring in a magazine. That was my opening. The morning of the shoot, I borrowed a little help. My seamstress, bless her, had kept scraps from the tailoring. Enough to sew a replica sash that looked identical from a distance but unraveled if tugged. I swapped it for the real one when Caroline wasn't looking. Not theft, just editing. I didn't even have to sneak into her house. She left the dress bag hanging in Mom's hallway like it was a trophy. By evening, Evan and I drove out, just to see. I stayed back at the tree line, heart hammering as Caroline posed in the field. Eric, her fiancé, looked stiff, already sweating under the linen shirt she'd picked for him. Caroline twirled, laughed fake loud, and demanded 100 angles. Then came the sash. She wrapped it around her waist, tied it tight, and leaned back dramatically for the camera. The knot slipped. The fabric frayed like it was made of paper. Within seconds, the sash came apart in her hands. The dress, already too tight, gaped where she'd forced it. The zipper snagged. She yanked harder, and the seam split wider, an ugly tear right across her stomach. The photographer froze. Eric muttered, "Jesus, Caroline." And then it happened. The scream. Not a dainty shriek, but a full-bodied howl, echoing across the meadow. She dropped to her knees in the grass, fists pounding the ground, hair sticking to her face. "She did this!" she shrieked, pointing wildly toward nothing. "Maya did this!" Everyone stared. The photographer backed up. Eric looked mortified, whispering something about going home. Caroline clawed at the ruined dress, ripping it more, like if she destroyed it completely it would prove her point. From the shadows, I watched her crumble. All her control, all her curated perfection, unraveling like the sash in her hands. And the best part? I didn't have to touch her. She did it all herself. I walked back to the car with Evan, my chest tight but lighter than it had been in months. "Sweet revenge," he whispered as we drove away. But I knew Caroline wasn't done. She never was. And I was right. The photo shoot meltdown should have been the end. Most people would have hidden in shame, maybe spun a vague Facebook post about wardrobe malfunctions, and tried again later. Not Caroline. She came home like a bomb with the pin already pulled. That night, I woke to pounding on my front door. Evan was already up, phone in hand. Through the peephole, I saw her. Hair wild, makeup smeared, dress still ripped at the seam. She looked feral. "Maya!" she screamed. "Open this door, or I swear to God!" Evan cracked it an inch, his voice low but firm. "Caroline, go home." She shoved against it, slamming her palm on the frame so hard the glass rattled. "You ruined me. You think this is funny? You jealous little bitch." I came into the hallway, phone recording in my hand. The second she saw the camera, she went ballistic. She grabbed one of my potted plants off the porch and hurled it at the siding. Clay exploded. Dirt streaked the white paint. "You'll pay for this!" she shrieked. Our neighbor across the street turned on his porch light. Another window cracked open down the block. Caroline saw the attention and, like always, leaned into it. She dropped to the ground, sobbing, screaming my name like I'd assaulted her. "She shoved me! She attacked me!" she wailed into the night air. Evan called the police before I could. By the time two cruisers pulled up, Caroline was sprawled across my lawn, dress torn, mascara running, selling her performance like an Oscar nominee. "She attacked me," she repeated, pointing at me. "My own sister." But this time, I had the video. I showed the officer her smashing the pot, screaming threats, demanding entry. The cop's face tightened. He turned to Caroline. "Ma'am, you need to leave, now." She lost it, shrieking, clawing at the grass, screaming that everyone was against her. They had to escort her to her Jeep while she kicked and sobbed. Mom pulled up in her sedan just in time to see it, rushing to Caroline like she was rescuing a war victim. By the time the lights faded, my porch was trashed, my neighbors were whispering, and my phone was buzzing with texts from relatives. "What did you do to your sister?" Inside, Evan just put his hands on his knees, breathing hard. "She's going to destroy us," he said quietly. I looked at the broken pot, the dirt streaking my walls, the porch light flickering from where she'd slammed it. My stomach was acid. "No," I said. "She's going to destroy herself. I just need to let her." But part of me knew Caroline wasn't done. And the next time, she might take it further than broken pottery. Update 2. All right, y'all. Back again? Because my life has turned into an HBO miniseries, apparently. I read through the comments on my last post, and honestly, some of you should have your own writing credits. Caroline is like a raccoon with a TikTok account, actually made me spit coffee. So, here's the latest. She showed up at my house, at night, in the ripped dress, screaming my name like a banshee while pounding on the door. Evan tried to hold her off, but she went full demolition derby on my porch. She threw a ceramic planter at my siding, sobbed on my lawn like she was auditioning for a soap opera, and screamed to the neighbors that I attacked her. Police came. Yes, really. And before you ask, yes, I recorded the whole thing. The officer saw her smashing my stuff and threatening me, and suddenly Caroline's performance didn't land so well. They escorted her off the property while she was kicking and sobbing, and Mom pulled up just in time to scoop her up like she was rescuing a fallen angel. The visual was chef's kiss. Now half my extended family is blowing up my phone with, "What did you do to your sister?" texts, because Caroline already got her version out first, of course. But here's the thing. I don't even have to defend myself anymore. I just send the video. Let people see the uncut, shaky iPhone footage of Caroline losing her mind on my lawn. And you know what? Silence. Suddenly, the flying monkeys go quiet. Some of you told me in the comments, "Stop fighting her, let her hang herself with her own rope." That hit me, because for the first time, I think she's doing exactly that. Every time she tries to bury me, she digs her own hole deeper. But I'm not just waiting around either. Caroline's whole empire, the lies, the attention, the golden child glow my mom polishes for her, it all runs on image. And I've got something that could snap that image clean in two. I won't say too much yet because she definitely stalks my posts. Hi, Caroline. But let's just say she wanted a stage, and I found her a bigger one than she ever bargained for. To the commenter who said, "The best revenge is handing someone the mic when they don't know they're off key?" Yeah, that's exactly where this is going. Stay tuned. The engagement party was at a rented banquet hall downtown. White drapes, fairy lights, champagne flutes lined up in perfect rows. Caroline had been blasting it all over Instagram for weeks, talking about how it would be the event of the year. I wasn't invited, of course not. But that didn't matter, because the video was. The footage of Caroline on my lawn, shrieking, throwing the planter, screaming my name to the neighbors, went live on Facebook 30 minutes after the first guest sat down. Not from my account. From a burner page I set up with one simple caption. "This is who you're really celebrating tonight." I didn't have to be there to see the dominoes fall. My cousin texted me within 10 minutes. Holy shit, Maya. People at the party are watching it right now. By the time Caroline made her grand entrance in a sparkly dress and forced smile, the whispers were already circling. Guests huddled over phones, side-eyes darting toward her. Eric's best man confronted him with a screen shoved in his face. Caroline saw it, and she snapped. "Delete that!" she screamed, lunging at his phone. The music cut. Glasses clinked as someone dropped one. She spun on the crowd, voice pitching higher, face red. "That video is fake. Maya edited it. She's jealous. She's always been jealous." No one bought it. The video was raw, shaky, uncut. You could hear Evan's voice calling the police, the officer's calm tone telling her to leave. Eric stepped forward, jaw tight. "Caroline, is that you?" Her eyes darted, wild. "It's not what it looks like." But then she lost control completely. She grabbed the cake knife from the table, slammed it into the tiered fondant like she was gutting an enemy. People gasped. Phones rose higher, recording. "She ruins everything!" Caroline screamed, frosting flying as she hacked into her own cake. Eric's mother pulled him back. His father muttered, "Son, think carefully." The photographer slipped out. Guests started leaving in quiet waves. And there it was. Caroline's empire crumbling. Not because I yelled, not because I fought, but because I let her reveal herself in the exact way she always feared. Messy, ugly, uncontrolled. From the videos guests sent me later, you could see the exact moment Eric's face changed. Not angry, not even shocked. Just done. And in that moment, I felt it too. Done. But Caroline wasn't. Not yet. The morning after the party, I woke to a text from my cousin. Eric left. Packed a bag, went to his parents. By noon, Caroline's engagement photos were deleted from Instagram. By evening, Eric's mother had posted a carefully worded update. "Sometimes love reveals truths we cannot ignore. Please respect our family's privacy." Translation: It's over. My phone buzzed non-stop. Relatives forwarding screenshots, neighbors sending clips from the party. A few even apologized. "We didn't realize how bad it was, Maya." The silence from Mom? Deafening. Caroline, though, not silent. She blew up my phone with 40 messages in 2 hours. All caps. "You ruined my life. I hope you're happy. This is all your fault." Then the switch flipped. "Please, Maya, help me fix this. Tell Eric it was your fault. Tell him you sabotaged me." When I didn't reply, she showed up again, pounding on the door, mascara smeared, screaming like the night of the planter. But this time, I didn't film. I didn't engage. I didn't even open the door. Evan called the cops again, and when they pulled up, I heard her shrieking as they walked her back to her Jeep. That was the last time she tried. A week later, Eric's sister messaged me. "Thank you for showing us who she really is. We almost tied our family to hers forever." Caroline went quiet after that. Her social media vanished. The engagement collapsed. Even Mom, who once called her spirited, stopped bringing her up. The golden child glow had finally cracked, and everyone saw the rust underneath. And me? I felt free. For the first time in years, I wasn't cleaning up her wreckage. I wasn't making excuses. I wasn't the wall holding her together. She wanted a stage. I gave her one. She destroyed herself. And I walked away lighter.